What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. Yesterday, I'm annoyed by it. I was really annoyed, honestly. Um, I did the wrong thing in the NBA game. I talked all day on every show about first quarter over. Did not take it. They had like 70 something points, I think, in the first quarter. I was, and then I said I was going to choose either between that or the Knicks or take both. I only took the Knicks. So NBA was a loser. WNBA, however, two winners. The best bet for this show, the Dream and Sparks over. I think that one reached 170. And then I had Storm plus 7.5. They lost by 5. Then this morning, I had Collins and Danilovic over 21.5 games in French Open. That was another winner. So good yesterday, good start to today. Vino, it's good to be back with you again. How was yesterday for you, and how are you doing?
I am good today, Skee. Yesterday was really good. Yesterday was 4-0. 1-0 in the NBA. We had that Pacer team total. They just continue to follow that pattern. Game 3, bad offensive performance. Game 4, bounce back. It's now 129, and 130 points scored by the Pacers in Game 4s off of a bad game the game before. WNBA was good. Dallas Wings over their team total. Pretty easy. Scored over 100 yesterday against Connecticut. That game total flew over too. Secondly, the Phoenix-Chicago over. Phoenix scored in the night. Chicago's given up 90, I think, in every game so far this year. It's not that hard to bet their games over. And then the last one was one where I was joined with you. The Sparks game over. And they put together a huge second half to get that thing over. But they did the job. So 3-0 WNBA, 1-0 NBA, 4-0 total. We will not complain.
Let's keep it going, Vino. I feel pretty good today. I can't lie. I can't tell you every single reason why, but I feel pretty damn good. A lot of it is winning. I'll tell you that though. So let's see if we can win a little bit more here today. We'll go in rotation order like we always do. 549, 550. Minnesota Timberwolves, Oklahoma City Thunder. Open up Thunder minus 8.5. I see 8.5 or 8, depending where you shop. Total, not much movement at 220.5. And man, what do you think, Vino? Before I get into, did I get lucky with Minnesota plus 3.5, or do you think was it the right side? What do you think about that? It doesn't matter, we cash, but I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's like, so much has been made of Anthony Edwards not playing well, but they scored 126. The bench did really well. I know we talk all the time, role players at home, and we'll get into it when I go ahead and talk about this game. But I don't know that it was wrong side. Team at home, down 2-1, sense of urgency. They played that way. It got there by the skin of your teeth, but yeah, I don't think it was a bad side.
And I'll be the person to say, I got all the smoke for Randle. I think Randle played terrible. I think he whenever he's not flowing offensively, he just kind of quits on doing anything else. And that's kind of what I saw from Randle out there. Anthony Edwards, I don't think I can say he played bad. I can say, if you want to say you would like him to take more shots, I can understand. But I feel like he was taking whatever was being given to him. He was 1 for 7 from 3. You don't want to continue to force shooting contested 3 after 3. So let's get into it. You mentioned those role player guys. If your other guys are splashing everything,
Right.
Nikhil Alexander Walker and DiVincenzo both, couldn't miss. You should continue to keep passing, right? But can we expect that now here in OKC? I'm not so, we always talk about it, role players better at home. I think if Minnesota is going to be in this game, the Stars have to do a lot of heavy lifting here on the road. So first, I'll start off and say that makes me like an Anthony Edwards points prop. Second, nobody did anything for OKC besides, not anything, but 95 points from the big three, Chet, J-Dub, and SGA. I would have to think the others helped chip in today. I'm thinking there's a lot of points to be had here. I'm thinking if the game gets out of hand, it's not like they're still going to be playing the best defense. 220.5 could be low here, Vino. And I think there's a lot of reasons to like OKC. What do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't talk anybody off. I couldn't make a decision. I'll be honest, Skee, whether side or total here tonight. It's been so good for Oklahoma City at home recently. If you go back to Game 7 against Denver, 3 straight blowouts on this floor, 2 of those against Minnesota. So yeah, I could see anybody playing that side, and I didn't know what to do with total. What I did was I drifted into an area I generally don't drift into, and you've talked about a lot of it already, but I played a prop here, player prop. I played Julius Randle over
There you go.
22 and a half points and rebounds. I thought 22 and a half was especially low points and rebounds combined.
Yeah. They
He's
must think he
been
quit too because his points were almost, I feel like 18 and a half, 19 and a half or something recently.
Yeah. Well, here he is. I mean, we talk about the games being zigzag. Julius Randle's on his own zigzag by himself in this playoff series. Game 1, he puts up 28 and 8 points and rebounds, 36. Nice game. Game 2, right in the tank, 6 and 5, only got 11. Game 3, he came back at home, 24 and 4, 28. And then, game 3. And then game 4, he goes, the other night, 5 and 7 for only 12 points and rebounds. So it's high, low, high, low, high, low. Something you said real quick here. I'm just going to repeat from my notes. These are my exact notes for the Wager Talk Today show previously when I gave this play out. Minnesota probably needs the starters, and in particular their stars, to carry the load here. Exactly what you just said. These role players, I'll go through the numbers. The role players in Target Center the last 2 games, and by role players, I'm going 6 through 9. The key guys, Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker, Terrence Shannon Jr., the guys who got the most minutes. They scored 107 points in 2 games, 60.7% from the floor, 63.3 from 3. I'm not looking for that in Oklahoma City because the 2 games they played in Oklahoma City, only 58 points. That's not 107. Only 30.6% shooting and only 23.3 from distance. So you can see the difference between role players home, role players road. So I do think that the stars have to play here. Another thing really quick here, I think because the whole nation is talking about what happened to Anthony Edwards in game 4, and I'm with you. If you're making the right basketball play and your team scores 126, what did you do wrong? But I guess him scoring 16 is not enough for other people. But relating it to gambling or sports betting terms, I kind of think that all this 90% talk about Edwards and only 10% of the people talking about what Randle did wrong, it kind of raised the price on Anthony Edwards tonight. I think you're paying a little premium for him in the bounce back situation, and it kind of softened Julius Randle's price again. Here's a guy who averaged 26 points and rebounds per game all season long. Now we're only asking for 23. In the playoffs, in particular, Minnesota's played 14 playoff games. Julius Randle's had 23 or more points and rebounds in 10 of 14 games. So he's 10 and 4 over this total already, 71%. It's a back-to-the-wall sense of urgency type game. I just expect Julius Randle. 16 and 8 is not even a big game. 16 and 7 gets you paid here out of Randle. And I feel like he'll be out to atone for what happened in game 4, just the way he bounced back after the poor game 2 with a big game 3. So that's where I landed, Skee. I landed on Julius Randle, points plus rebounds over 22 and a half.
I mean, it is an absolute buy low. I wish I knew the actual number, but I swear his points were not that far off from that, just a little bit ago. So the 2 stars will definitely be needed in this game if they're going to be in it. I'll ask you this, I mean, I know you didn't love the total too much, but I'll say a couple things, and I'll ask you which one you think is more true. How about that? You can just make a decision of the 2. The Thunder have scored 118 plus in 15 of their last 18 home games. They've really just, in the playoffs, I mean, they've really dominated at home in general. I feel like team total today was around 115 and a half, if I'm not mistaken. That seems like one you might like to go over. Then I'll ask you, I mean, you like Julius Randle over. I'm liking Anthony Edwards over. Are those, I mean, do we agree that the rest of the people are not? I mean, How are we viewing Minnesota's team total? I'm thinking even if Randle and Anthony Edwards go off, 106.5 still might not get there. Which one do you lean more towards of the two?
I'll say this. I was there. I bet Minnesota over the team total both times in the first two games in Oklahoma City, and they failed both times. And the second one was a heartbreaker for me because that team total, Skee, that night was only 103.5, and they landed 103. That was a 5% play for me that cost me by half a point. So, and I think the game before they didn't get there either. It was like 102.5, or maybe it was 105.5. So I could see Minnesota team total maybe under, especially if these two teams think 128, 126. We made a lot of defensive mistakes. Let's tighten up on the defensive end, maybe. That would be reasoning for that play. And the other reasoning, I think, is, Oklahoma City over their points. You laid out the fact that they've scored 118 plus and so many, and they just seem to keep forcing turnovers. And I hear this talk from Minnesota every game. We have to limit our turnovers. But that's how Oklahoma City scores. They score on all these runouts. So if Minnesota tightens up the ball handling, maybe they don't get as many. I think, man, I hate to say it because I have Randle over points and rebounds, but maybe less points means more rebounds, right? There's a lot of shots missing, and you can get some rebounds. I think I would probably.
He was the first Angel Reese. I'm not gonna lie. He was, and that's why I didn't like him on the Lakers. He used to just miss layups and just rebound and do it over and over again and pad the stats. Not pad stats, but he was just like that. Everything they say about Angel Reese, Julius Randle did it first. But go ahead, Veno. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I need an Angel Reese type performance tonight. I could use those. I could use 14 rebounds and and 10 points. To your question, I think I would favor Minnesota team total under 106.5. That's increased since the time I bet it. I mean, I only bet it in game 2, and it was 103.5. So they've jacked Minnesota up a bit. I'd lean that way, Skee. I don't know. Even though I need Randle, I would lean that way.
All right. I think I agree with that. No, even if OKC scores, their defense probably will step up, and even if OKC doesn't score, you can trust them to play defense. So,
and I think you're down 3-1 if you're Minnesota. It's there's no tomorrow, so it's almost like if you're going to play defense, play it tonight to try and survive. Maybe you get a good defense. Minnesota's not a poor defensive team, but like I say, OKC gets so much off of turnovers. Wow.
All right, good stuff, Veno. I think we can move it on down the list. Before we do, there was one question in the chat. He said, Dre says, who won the trade, the Knicks or the Wolves? I think it was pretty even. Any opinion from you?
It seems like they both got what they want. I think they had to move Towns out of there because him and Gobert next to each other wasn't really working. And certainly Towns has come up big a couple times. So I think it's probably a fair trade both ways. Yeah, I think Minnesota's better with Randle a little bit, and maybe New York's a little better with Towns.
All right. We'll move it on over to a little WNBA now. Only one game today. And, man, missing somebody a lot of people like to see. It's the Fever and the Mystics opened up Fever -2.5. I'm seeing 4.5 now. Total continues to climb. I looked at it last night. I was like, I already missed the boat. Should I still get in? Looks like nobody else hesitated. It opened up 157.5. It's up to 164. So that's a 6.5 point move there. No Caitlin Clark. She'll be out for, I think, 4 games minimum, they said. For Washington, Shakira Austin. Well, I thought she was out, but it says questionable. Let me refresh, actually. Yeah. Still have questionable here. So, Veno, obviously, I was agreeing with the total still going up. I get Caitlin Clark, is one of the great passers, shooters, and stuff on his team, but they still want to have the same identity. I think they still want to play fast,
right? And
that's the same kind of style Washington wants to play, right? Now, I continue to say this, and Washington hasn't. Maybe they're just not making enough shots because 3 games in a row have gone under. But I do think both of these teams want to run at the very least. I think the pace will be there, and I think the line is moving in the right direction. You know, we if Austin is out, that's a huge deal. But also, just we see this time and time again when a star player is out. Everybody else steps up, especially for that first game. And I could very well see a performance like that tonight. So lean fever, lean over. Curious how you see this game.
Yeah, well, here's what I'll say first is we're finding out real quick. I think you said it yesterday that these spot plays, these situational plays, Golden State last night, they don't work. Right now, at least they don't work.
Minnesota Lynx last night? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it is a good situational spot to play against Washington, just from a side perspective, because we always say in the NBA, extended road trip first game home. They just played 4 road games, 3 on the West Coast, fly all the way back east, first game home. And Indiana's off of that kind of heartbreaking loss to New York on Saturday. So you mesh those things together and maybe you come up with Indiana. I want to see them at the point without Caitlin Clark, and especially her passing ability, never mind the scoring, because I think, to your point, Indiana's still going to run. They're going to force pace. They're number one. I think they're number 1 tempo team in the league right now. So they're going to push it. I think Washington wants to run Skee, but looking back at it, Phoenix and Golden State does want to push, but you watched that game with me, Washington and Golden State. We both had that over. Nobody could make anything. Las Vegas, it stayed under as well. I can't really make a case for that staying under. I thought that should have gone over. But Las Vegas was horrible. And then the other night against Phoenix has kind of been somewhat of a slower defensive-minded team, even though they scored big last night. So there's some justification for these unders. Prior to that, at home, they were 1-84 against Atlanta. Then they were 175 against Connecticut. Brittany Sykes, for somebody who needs a bounce back, 1 for 13 last game. I'd expect she was really good to start the season. 1 for 13 is not her. So in the end, I think the only 2 things I could look at would be either Indiana or total over. And I still think I would prefer total over, even at this stage of the game where, like you say, it's not the best end of the line. But 165 in an Indiana game just isn't that hard to get to. I'd love to be positive that they'll be okay at the point without Clark, but I still think that might be worth a shot. That's that side of the game, the total over.
So Rob think it's gone up, but maybe just still not enough. And I'm right there with Rob. So we see pretty similar on this one. B Daddy is thinking chop this one in half, take the first half, 82.5. I don't have a reason to talk you off of that. Aniko says I got Press for NHL, Mero for MLB, Andy for tennis. I need a WNBA guru now. And Dre says Skee and Rob. Well, yeah, I mean, you're in here. You can hear, both of us talk. We talk about how we did yesterday every single day. You can make a decision. I mean, Kabang is also a really good WNBA handicapper. You guys can check out some of his work as well, even if he's not on the show. But good luck to Aniko, and everybody else as well. Veno, I think we did a pretty good job. Only 2 games. We're in and out of here. And it's good because I don't know what happened to my odds screen over here. It just blacked out. So we're going to move it on over. Well, before we move it to best bets, let's make sure we keep everybody happy around here, right, Veno? Couple of those are not here anymore, but we did talk a little bit about the flex picks. And Mark, I did see Mark in the comments, and Mark is one of the guys who's talked to me about it. He listed plenty of reasons why it's good. I hear nothing but good things about flex picks. I'm not gonna lie. It's been explained. Pretty much you can like pick your cappers and pick one each day, or just roll with different people on whatever day you like. And I can understand how that's convenient. And I'm pretty sure Mark said you get like an extra percentage off when you roll with flex picks. So that is always available. Outside of that, Veno, I'm going to open it up to you. I ask you if there's anything you would like to promote. And if you have a best bet for the show, feel free to share. If you do not, all good.
I'll definitely say, go to wagertalk.com and sign up for flex picks, but I won't get into promoting it anymore, Skee. I'm done with promoting flex picks. That was maybe an all-timer yesterday. But yeah, the flex picks has been received really, really well by a lot of clients so far. So go over and check it out. I would say best bet is the only game I bet today, Skee, is what I'm going to leave for a best bet, and it's what I just talked about. Julius Randle, points and rebounds over 22.5. To me, I think you described it in 2 words, buy low. It just seems like he's been on this up, down roller coaster type series so far. He's been really good at covering this number throughout the playoffs. He did it on average throughout an 82-game season. So I have no reason to believe that he won't get there tonight and try to atone for what was a poor performance the night before. Julius Randle, points and rebounds up and over 22.5. I think the VIG is a little steep on that game. I think I laid 25 cents to get to 22.5, but I'd rather do that and keep the low number.
All right. I think that's a solid look right there. We already talked about agreeing on that. For myself, I do have a 5% best bet up and available. And honestly, that is the only thing I've taken today. So I can't come on here and just give it to you guys. And I don't believe in I this is me personally. I don't believe in, giving you guys a bet that I haven't taken yet. So I can't give you guys one today. I gave you a winner yesterday. At least I can say that. We will have a best bet tomorrow. Maybe I'll give you guys a double best bet or something. But today, I'm just rolling with my 5% best bet. And we'll see if we can find some overnight tennis as we go throughout the day. So, Veno, it's always nice doing the show, talking these games out with you. Appreciate you taking the time to do so. To the chat, we appreciate you. You guys help make the show what it is. And I enjoy personally being, capping these games with a lot of great people and just great cappers. So, yeah, can't let you guys know how much you're appreciated. Best of luck on all your action. We'll be back again tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we will catch you guys then.